Exotic is not a compliment. It's a type of translation. It's what people say when they don't know where to place you, but they still want access to you. I didn't become exotic when I left the United States. I didn't become exotic when I started to date outside of my ethnic expectation. I've actually always been exotic. I've actually always been exotic. The difference is, I didn't always understand that what people were responding to was how close I looked to something that they already valued or thought had value. And that something had nothing to do with me. It was whiteness. If you haven't already, go ahead, subscribe to my channel, and let's get into my notes on what being exotic actually teaches you. When you grow up black with features that are constantly being compared to whiteness, you do not experience that as beauty. It's more like a type of suspicion because you're constantly being questioned, as being looked at as something that needs some sort of explanation. And long before I think any of us had language for it, I was being viewed through a colonial lens. Exotic sounds like a type of praise, something that's rare and special, something that you should treasure.
Like, this is like a thing in the black community a lot, honestly, and it's just ingrained in us to be that way. But when someone's hair is a certain type or length, it's almost assumed that they have to have or be something other than black, you know, in their bloodline, or just, I guess, basically like I'm sure throughout history, a lot of black people's families and bloodlines is pretty much mixed up a little bit. But at the same time, there's a lot of people I feel like they have very, very close, very, very black ancestry. And something as simple as like their hair would raise questions or eyebrows, because it's just assumed that a lot of like typical black people just can't have certain hair, like a certain length of hair or a certain type of hair. Now, granted, it is more common to see certain types of anything within a certain racial group and stuff like that. Like, that's just people going off of like observation and patterns. But it's just kind of sad. It's 2026 and it's kind of still going on. Like, they'll call like people with a certain type of hair, like they'll say, "Oh, that's the pretty hair," or "That's the good stuff," or like they'll say that a certain skin complexion is better than the next. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, or like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like alienating. Like, you feel like you're trying to humble yourself so that the next less exotic person feels just as beautiful as you are. Like, or people just, they choose to see more beauty or value in like the next person, or like somebody with certain features that they idolize, or like, you know.
Yes, can you zoom in now? You have a lot of energy.
Like, I feel like even down to black people being like, let's say like you being pretty for a black person or some shit like that, or like a black guy that doesn't play basketball, it's like it's rare. Like, or just if he reads, or if he just isn't outside in the streets, that's just like I mean, obviously, like, be educated or be cool, like be yourself, but it's just looked upon as being above like the next person just because of like assumptions made about people with the opposite interests, or like they're statistically safer or just healthier or better. And not everything is about numbers or like, you know, like just because you have interest in something that other people would find distasteful or like strange doesn't mean that you're like crazy, or like doesn't mean that anyone is really actually correct for real. I think people just, they don't be knowing what they're saying, or like how what they're saying is really actually just judgmental and scary.
You're not tired? Cuddling would make you feel more relaxed? Okay, we can cuddle. But exotic is not a category of beauty. It's a category of investigation. It gives people permission to examine you without fully seeing you, to be curious about you without offering you the safety of truly belonging. Growing up, my features were always a topic of conversation. Where did your eyes come from? Is that natural? Who do you actually look like? And it's not just curiosity, it's a type of verification. Because if you have features that people want to place closer to whiteness, people don't just see you, they try to place you, to categorize you. They either want to validate you or disqualify you. And the other side of that is the quiet accusation. People only really like you because of that thing. Without those features, you wouldn't really be special, would you? We talk about being fetishized in the most obvious ways, when it's racialized and easy to identify. But we often ignore what happens inside of familiarity.
There's a lot of YouTubers, right, or like people with a niche of like, let's say, hair care, or like their hair is popularly known, or like what's it called, just, I guess you could say, gazed upon. I don't know, like it's they're widely known for maybe something like their hair being incredibly long, or like incredibly like cool, and then everyone, you know what I'm saying, lines up at the door to see them every time they brush their hair or like touch their hair, and all these different videos and styles of videos and things that they could share and create with people. And then the minute they buzz their hair or they chop it all off, people are like disappointed in them, and all of a sudden they lose their traction, or like their they lose their value. You know what I'm saying? It's really strange. It's like it's being like exotic is not even a compliment at that point. It would just be more like something to like study, or like what's the word I'm looking for? Like mostly idolize, and then you kind of lose your own value, like within yourself, kind of making sure that people are always satisfied with your content, or like with your person or your being, and making sure that you keep that validation, or the things, or the thing that people enjoy the most about you, which is probably just the features. You know, there's more to people than how they look, or like you know what I'm saying? Yeah, how they look. There's more to people than that. You know what I'm saying? All of us get old one day, and then all of us go through changes and stuff in life, whether it's like pregnancy or like surgeries or like accidents or things like that, God forbid, like in terms of accidents and stuff that really, you know what I'm saying, can change people's lives. But more moral of what I'm saying is, like, there's a person behind the looks or the look or that feature, like the hair that you like or the eye color that you like or the way somebody talks or like just shit that people have. I don't know, like.
When girls learn early the hierarchy that is associated with attraction and desire, and how many exceptions are made, even among their own people. I don't even know if there's a word for that, if there is.
Oh, 333. And if you feel like you only love certain aspects about somebody, like just their body type or like their hair or this and that, and then, you know, some people will be with someone and tell them if they ever cut their hair they wouldn't be attracted to them anymore. Like if you ever if you ever just end up not recovering from certain things the way I need you to recover, like that snap back or like just looking a certain way every day, like showing up a certain way all the time, the minute that you basically stop keeping up with that expectation and then somebody acts like you're not as valuable, those things were not a compliment. They were an excuse for somebody to be around you, or I guess idolization. It's strange.
Please tell me.
And
Because
sad.
it happens. And honestly, I feel like most girls learn early how conditional desirability really is. It honestly gets boring to continuously talk about how colonial power exported aesthetics and then reinforced it everywhere. So that now what we do is call it preference, and it just makes hierarchy more personal. People look at you and decide what they believe your interpretation of your features are based on their proximity to the standard that was never built for you.
Yeah, like I know there's like jokes and stuff like that on the internet or like in comments or replies and stuff. Like, for example, if somebody sees somebody's hair behaving a certain way, or like, I'm just using examples that are kind of relatable a little bit, or like they have certain makeup items that, you know, there's only a certain number of ranges and shades for a lot of these like bigger brand names in terms of makeup, or like if somebody just has a certain lifestyle, just period, and then the comments are like, oh, I could never, or like my blank could never, and it's just kind of meant for everyone to be individuals and appreciate what they can do and what they are like, you know, instead of putting somebody else's capabilities or like looks above your own. And a lot of people do it to themselves, like without even realizing it's so deeply ingrained in not just Black communities, but just like any community. Even, you know, a lot of South Asian, like Indians, are treated like dirty Asians, or like a lot of Latinos, or whatever you call them, Hispanic, I don't really know the correct term, people that speak Spanish or something similar. A lot of like Dominicans or Puerto Ricans or Cubans or whatever, they're treated like how ninjas are treated in like 1940s America, or like just because their skin color is usually darker, or like their hair is usually curlier, and things like that. Like, they have like all these derogatory terms for people in all these different places and stuff, because people are just put on like this scale, and like however far away you are from the exotic features or like the standard, if you can get as close to that as possible. Like a lot of people, they really literally go out of their way to date people outside of their race, like fetishization, or like they go out of their way to get a certain offspring in life because they just honestly want to be close enough to get it, or see what's so special, or like honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna edit this out, but I feel like maybe my mom wasn't really necessarily like this to the T, but I feel like there's a lot of people that are, and a lot of the things she would say about herself, or just because of bullying she experienced, like growing up in the UK, or like growing up in the Caribbean islands and stuff like that. Like she didn't have much, and she wasn't super dark or anything, but I feel like she probably experienced bullying just for like, you know, her looks, or like her hair, if it wasn't perfectly done, like, you know what I'm saying? Like she just kind of carried that through her life, and then over time she would really go out of her way to make her children, who seemed to basically just have a life that was different than hers, or like features that were different than hers, feel like better than her. Or like she would say, oh, I don't think you look like me, you look like your dad. But she would always call herself ugly, and it was just kind of sad, because I really felt like I really looked like her, like sometimes, and she just was just putting her kids above her, just simply because she feel like she picked a father that had features and things that she would have liked growing up, or like, you know, that other people didn't get bullied for, like a certain hair type, or a certain feature, like, or whatever it was. And that can honestly end up being super creepy, when people just kind of treat you like a zoo animal and not like a person. Not that she did that, like she reminded me all the time that I'm black and beautiful, and I'm not the most exotic looking person, like, but at the same time I had features and things about me that she would really point out and say, this is very valuable, like people will be jealous of you, or blah blah blah, or X, Y, and Z. And I really wasn't about all that, but anyway, it was ingrained in me to feel like I had something that a lot of people don't have. And or like at times I just knew, like, you know, it would be grown ass adults that would show envy in me, or some things like that. Like sometimes grown-ups would say the subtle things like, oh, your hair's so cute, I just want to can I take a braid? And one time this person in my class, they literally like cut one of my braids off all the way at the top of my head, and I literally had to wear a hat to school, like for a whole year or whatever she said, because I don't even remember what it was. But it's the small things like that that really followed me. And it's just kind of sad when people feel like they're like not really a person to you, but like an experiment, or like a specimen to really get close to and examine, and like figure out what's so different than you. Growing up, sometimes when I would shower and I would finish showering, I don't even know if I should share this, but it just felt like my mother was more interested in like a conversation immediately after I showered. Like I'm booty butt naked, and like I would tell her eventually. I would notice she would do that, and I would say, this is making me really uncomfortable. And I don't think I'm the only one that she did that to. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I just noticed that she would do that a lot. And then over time, I just stopped really allowing that to happen. And she would just comment a lot on certain celebrities' bodies and their hair, or like their features and things like that. Like, she was pretty much one of the most sensitive people. Like, she's the type of person that ended up externalizing a lot of her insecurities and idolizing people, and sometimes showing signs of like jealousy versus just appreciation. And she would just, it would just be really telling, like, what was the point, right? Like, sometimes I really felt like I didn't really have a reason to really be here outside of like the things that made me really cool, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to say it. I feel like I wasn't really here to be loved. I was really here to be watched. You know what I'm saying? Or just like I said, like looked at like some experiment.
Because we've been told certain features are inherently more beautiful, it means that if you possess those type of features, you automatically believe in your legibility within the system that was built to center whiteness.
And then it's just like it's expected of you to over explain, you know what I'm saying, your ethnicity if you look a certain way, or really give the real answer of what you are, like answer people's assumptions or questions about like around what they think you are. Like, I'm not even gonna get into it like more than
So
that.
when those features are on a black body, they're not just seen, they're interpreted and curated. People assume that proximity to the supposed standard gives you an advantage, and sometimes it does. But that advantage is conditional because you're not truly being accepted, you are being filtered.
And then my mom would say some really weird things too, like growing up. Like, obviously I wasn't taking everything to heart growing up, but then as I got older and thought about it, I just felt like it was very wrong for her to think the way she did and say some of the things that she said. Like, granted, nobody's ever perfect, so I just appreciated that she was just a loving mother. Like, she just did her best, and she wasn't horrible or anything. It was just obvious that she was very abused, or like you know, abusive. So she would say things like, if you apply for a job, your last name is gonna get you a faster response to your applications, because my last name is not like a typical like regular white passed down last name, or like what you would expect a black person's last name to be, or somebody that looks like me. So she just would tell me like, oh, you're more likely to get a application response, because in her mind, a lot of black people didn't get jobs simply for their name being like too black, or like just they would look and automatically go no. But that's also why I used to really struggle with keeping a job, because I figured, oh, I'll just get another one, because I was just taught like, well, you'll always just have opportunities that a lot of people don't have, and just based off of like something stupid as that. And then what else? She told my siblings and stuff like that she named her kids a certain way so that, like, again, if they were to ever apply for jobs, and mind you, we're talking about society, we're not talking about being accepted and loved, and their names being, like, actually thought out. I mean, yes, she probably did put good thought into our names, but she said it as if it was like it was like you would be failing your kids otherwise to give them a creative name or something that sounds more maybe African, or like if it sounds more white, like something that you would expect a white person's name to be, you would get a better result in life. Like, nobody's gonna ever see your name on paper or on a name tag, or hear your name and it's gonna be hard to pronounce, or just like less exotic, like, you know what I'm saying? So she would just say stuff like that, and it was very telling that exotic is actually not a good thing, because the minute you're not meeting someone's expectation of your exoticness, or you start acting less exotic, or like, if you're more inside of the expectation of your ethnicity, after all, it's like the real value was not the name or the hair, or the color of your skin, or your size, or this or that. It was really the expectation that people get. Like, if somebody gets with a certain person, they expect their offspring to be like this. They expect their life to be like that. If I be with a certain person, my life will be richer. This will be that. And if I blah blah blah, it's blue blue blue. And it's like, people have really bad expectations of people, and assumptions about people, and it's not a compliment. Like, exotic is not like always what it's knocked up to be. Even people with the very things that you want and desire in life, or like you think you want, they're not really all that happy, or like sometimes they're not always, it's not always such a big difference for real. It's just the judgment that people have for themselves, and what they think is more or less valuable, and what we've been taught to think is beautiful, and what's smart and cool, or like all that stuff is just like ignorance. Like, it's not a compliment to be different for the wrong reasons. Like, I'd rather be the same at that point. I'd rather be like myself, not like in a box, or like somebody trying to put me in one. Because like, that's what they're avoiding in the first place, and you're actually putting someone in a box, really.
You are desired as long as you remain interpretable, as long as you can be translated through something seen as familiar. But the moment you step outside of that, then your desirability shifts. I've never experienced my features as fully at home in black spaces or white spaces, because you are being filtered and translated through the exact same lens as the daughter of a woman who was committed to it. My mother was probably one of the first people in line to get colored contact lenses when they became popular, so that she could be the source of my eye color, so that she could access that attention, so that she could be associated with that version of beauty. And growing up in that environment, you learn something very specific, that your body has value, but not necessarily on your own terms. You start to see what parts of you are valued versus what about you is tolerated. And
Yeah. Heavy on tolerated. It's like if somebody says, like, to someone of a mixed race, oh, you have pretty eyes, and then their hair is just probably like 4C, like, you know what I'm saying, just not what you would expect of somebody that has pretty eyes, or like, let's say color of eyes that's not typically brown or dark brown, or like, you know what I'm saying. It's expected of them to have very exotic features, meaning like just the perfect mix. And then it's just like this part of you is tolerated versus that part of you is like actually exotic or actually valuable. Like, okay, it happened right for this part of you. And then the rest is like whatever else people think. And that's kind of crazy because it really takes the beauty away from what gave said exotic person or place or thing the beauty in the first place. Like, it's deriving from whatever was tolerated. Like, it's kind of scary. Or like, let me think. You know, that's okay.
and what parts of you are people actually just trying to consume? When your desirability is constantly being interpreted, you start to interpret yourself. You might edit, adjust, trying to decide what version of you is most legible. The funny thing is, I know what most people want me to say when they ask me about my features in some sort of way. Some white ancestor that explains some aspect of me. You will never get that from me because a lifetime of being exotic was not validation for me. It has often felt more like being misunderstood with attention attached to it. Men will try to reshape you into a version of something that they feel like they can get social value from. I can't tell you how many, particularly black men when I was dating, would make suggestions for me to change aspects of my look so that I look more exotic.
Literally, like I just said, like, it's like they want the, like, your appearance to match the expectation of how exotic you probably are. Like, instead of just being yourself or not keeping up with an expectation of who you should be or what features go with what, and blase blase. There's been so many times I was really talking to or dating a black person, and they're so worried about me being attracted to somebody outside of my race, but they're clearly only attracted to me, or probably more attracted to me, knowing that I have certain features or a certain ethnicity maybe, or background that they see as like exotic or different, or like you just you it's like, it's one thing to have like be attracted to someone and actually be attracted to them, but it's just the way certain things we called out, like your skin tone, for example. Like, I know I'm brown, but it's like it's I don't even want to say it, bro. It's like, there's been so many guys that would really like show interest in me, or like I would really be dating them or talking to them, and I was classified as, to them, more attractive than typical black people, because they just always thought their whole life they would just run into the same type of black person outside of looks or exoticness. I'm talking about just ignorance, right? Like, just, I didn't know that you were like this, or you were from here, or did that, or you like this. And so like, it was like I became more attractive once I proved my exoticness in the shit. And it was kind of like, they didn't want to let that go because it's like a trophy to them instead of like just a part of you. It's like
for their pleasure. But instead of chasing that type of attention and validation, I chose freedom. The freedom to be weird, to explore the things that I find beautiful about myself without needing to be understood. Because I've already been judged, already been categorized, and already been explained. So why don't I just find freedom in that?
Oh, and then nobody talks about how if you are, you know, from a certain background, or you have like a certain history, and you actually don't look as exotic as maybe people that have your similar background or ethnicity, or whatever it is, whatever the mixture is, whatever the F you are, it's like you're really you're it's like you're tolerated just because you still have that inch of X, Y, and Z, or you're still different though, or like, well, at least this is nice, or at least this is cool, or this is like.
Being exotic in white spaces is not special. It's just what it always has been. It's basic. It's simply a way to categorize something that doesn't fit. Being exotic is never about the person. It was never about me. It's about the lens. And once you know that, then exotic doesn't mean much. Our desire isn't even built in isolation. We're all positioned in a hierarchy that we didn't create. I have actually never questioned my desirability, but I do question what I'm desired for. Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, subscribe to my channel. I look forward to the discussion in the comments, so ciao ciao for now.
You know what I'm saying? For people when they can't tell what people like them for. Like, if they like them because they're targeting them for like a certain look in their future family. Like, if they have a wife that looks like this and kids that look like this, and maybe they're just typical like white or black or just that or this or whatever they are, it would just literally make them feel like they have something that other people don't. So they wouldn't actually be liking you. They would just like that they're getting attention. And it's scary because I've literally been in situations with people that were trying to hurry up and rush or force a baby, or so it seemed, right? Like, I don't know how real or fake it really is out there like that, but people will say things like that, like they want to have a pretty baby with you and stuff like that, like, and it just feels too forced and too rushed. Like, it makes you feel like you really just only want this for attention, or like the wrong reasons, like, and then they at the same time exhibit self-hating behavior, and then they blame external reasons for like why they don't like themselves, or why they have to be so the way they are, you know what I'm saying, like not kind to themselves, or just judgmental about people just because of a past experience that they can so very possibly heal from and learn to love from, and not accept to hate, you know. Like, I don't think anybody's more, honestly, I really don't think anybody's more beautiful than the next person. Like, I feel like God actually made us all really the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look really good, you never know what somebody is going through internally. And then if you think you're not all that conventionally attractive, and you have a lot to offer the world in really positive ways, and or you're just still very, very useful and stuff like that. Or like, you know, I don't think any features are really more inherently beautiful than the next just because it's widely accepted or validated. Because honestly, a lot of people that are conventionally attractive are very, very disrespected on a daily basis. Like, they're just made out to be full of themselves, or like thinking they're better than other people, and if not that, they're literally idolized, or like they're not treated like human anymore. They're treated like a billboard, and like this emotionless like person, and they can just take all the rush of good and insatiable attention and desire, and then with that, just the prejudgment and arrogance and lack of education and stuff like that people really don't find a problem with until maybe they experience it in their own right, or like in a way that they really get it. You know what I'm saying? You know, people always want what they don't have until they probably have it, and then they realize like it's not all it's chalked up to be. And I don't say that to say that if you think something's good and it ain't, you're wrong. It's just there's always something good and bad about people, even if you think they're perfect or you think they're just nothing but it's tolerable or basic or regular, or like anything like that. It's like regular black, regular white, regular this, regular that. It's just like there's beauty in like the eye of the beholder. Like, you should never think exoticness is better than or more beautiful than someone that you think is more basic, because firstly, that's not really fair or true, in my opinion. It's everything comes with its highs and lows, and you know, like I said, like our bodies and our looks and where we come from is not all that we are. Like, yeah, it plays a huge part in how you're perceived and how you might live a day-to-day life and things like that. But like, if you're any type of real person, you know that we don't just go off of like sight with our two regular eyes. Like there's more to life than what you can see. Like, that's why so many people live a happy, fulfilling life, and they feel great, and they really get the world, because and they're blind, or like they have disabilities, or like they're just basic, or like they're just not exotic. And it's because they see the beauty in themselves, in the world, and their differences are like valuable. Like, it's kind of like it's I mean, yeah, you can, I guess, look at it from a healthy viewpoint. Like, if you feel like a certain exoticness is based off of basic and basic, or like regular and regular, or regular and exotic, or etc. etc. It's like, yeah, duh, like those features are coming from all the beauty that you see in something or someone exotic was already in the basic. It's just people put more emphasis and more exposure into what they feel like is better than, or more valuable, and what they assume about exotic is not always, like I said,
I look forward to the discussion in the comments. So
what it's chalked up to be.
for now.